what do you think a good dissertation looks like?
Okay, so earlier on I covered what students often want to ask me. And I think maybe I might disappoint them somewhat because usually if they show me a piece of writing, their dissertation, and it doesn't have their title on it, that's the one thing I would ask to see. So I would normally look for, okay, especially if I feel like the style of writing in the dissertation is not particularly clear. It might start off being quite general or a little bit vague, or the kind of ideas are not well developed to the point where the language is specific. So if I can identify those problems with a dissertation, usually just from reading parts of it, I would want to have a good look at the title, and I would be looking for a clear, detailed, or specific title. Um, so just to give you an example, if someone was interested in looking at the impact of HS2, and that was their title, I would say, well, I don't think that's specific enough because HS2 can have lots of different impact. For example, are you looking at what the impact would be on commuting times once it's set up and running and ready to go? Or are you looking at other things such as, what is the impact of HS2 on the environment in the construction of HS2? Because it would have a different type of impact once it's been built. Um, and, we're thinking about, for example, traffic pollution and those sorts of things. So there are lots of different dimensions when it comes to a general topic. And it's really important to think about, what specific aspect do I want to focus on? So just to give you a few more examples, could we be looking at the impact of HS2 on pollution levels if we compare? So once HS2 is up and running, what would the impact be on traffic pollution levels compared to before HS2 was established, for example? Are we thinking about the overall carbon impact of HS2? Are we thinking about the impact of HS2 on biodiversity and fauna in surrounding areas? Also bearing in mind that it's a massive road network. So from there, you might want to kind of drill down on, well, which surrounding areas do I want to look at? Probably not the entire length of HS2, but specific areas. So the reason I would do that is because if you have a very clear idea of what your research is focusing on, then it's likely that the rest of the argument is going to follow suit in terms of being able to convey that clarity. Whereas something that's not been fully developed is likely to end up being very vague. You'll talk about HS2 in very general terms, and your marker will probably say things like, well, this is quite vague, or this is a sweeping statement, it's overgeneralized. You should develop that point further. Or they might say, I can't see the connection between your ideas.
Yeah, yeah.